around 1991 or so, I got exposed to, well, Roger Mills came up and did a presentation in Burlington, Vermont, and at that time I heard something that I had never heard before in prevention. I had just finished writing my book, and I was a little suspicious because I had never heard of this guy after researching what worked in prevention for 3 years. But when he started talking about what happened in the Modello and Homestead Gardens housing projects, and more than that, when he brought with him a couple of the women from the housing projects, I knew that right there that the prevention field was missing something that I had never seen in the field before. And I was immediately intrigued. But at the time I just figured it was just another very good approach to prevention that had been missed. And so I squeezed a little something into my book about it, and then pretty much forgot about it until I was reading a book called Teacher, which was about how this really amazing principal went into a school in southern New Hampshire and totally turned the place around, and it was written like a story. And it occurred to me that I needed to write a book about Modello in the same kind of way. So I asked Roger Mills for permission, and he gave me permission to do it. I went down there and interviewed people, and my life was never the same. Certainly my working life was never the same.
Could you tell us kind of the highlights of what happened in Modello? Maybe a little bit about what it was like, and then what happened afterwards, and if you can remember any sort of statistics or anything of anything, that would be quite helpful. So like the before and the after.
Yeah, Modello. Well, you know, it was a low-income inner-city housing project that was not in the inner city. It was stuck in the middle of nowhere. In fact, it wasn't even in a town, official town. It was just in a Dade County. And yet it was filled with all of the problems that an inner-city housing project has. Drugs, alcohol, abuse, domestic violence, teenage pregnancy, you name it. It was a horrible place. And well, when Roger Mills went in there, there was an effort that actually was started by then Dade County State Attorney Janet Reno to do something about prevention in housing projects like that. And Roger kind of weaseled his way into that effort. It wasn't just there, it was in a bunch of different housing projects around. And, you know, they set up not Roger, but Janet Reno's effort with Tom Peterson, which was her chief assistant, set up daycare centers in these places. They set up little markets that so people could have access to food right there, and they would hire people from within the housing project to run them, and they brought in a ton of services from all these different service agencies, and yet only in one of the projects did tremendous results occur, and that's where Roger went in. I mean, there were nice little results in the other places, but it was only where Roger Mills went in that the project showed pretty much astounding results. And basically the entire housing project was turned around, but it was turned around with a pretty small core group of people.